They were, yes, absolutely an underdog team. Going into this event, a lot of people did not expect them getting out of the 13th through 16th place spots, which was basically, you know, just about last place, as we keep getting kicked out. I don't know why that's happening. But here they are in the grand finals. They somehow have made the run behind just flashy play, honestly. Flashy play, they get the Magnus first pick. Oh man, here we go. Okay, so you could tell LGD, they had a plan here, of course. Interesting opening. So LGD actually bans the IO themselves. They picked it the first two games. They realized, okay, it didn't work. We don't want to give it up though, because this time Spirit has a first pick. So they ban it. They leave the Magnus. They banned IO Tiny. Sorry, I am blocking. 1 sec.
5 seconds remaining.
So they banned IO Tiny, which Tiny's been one of the strongest carries this whole tournament. IO, again, not much else to say, so that's understandable. They give up Magnus, though, who's obviously very powerful in that game, too. But they snap pick a Rubik Undying. A little bit of a unique opening, but I think this is pure counter Magnus picks, right? They're both very good against Magnus, and that Rubik spell-stealing RP is something that he is going to look to be doing, and they can steal, and it's one of those abilities. So how Rubik works, he has his ultimate, what's called Spell Steal, where the last ability used by a hero, it'll be taken by Rubik. Now, with Reverse Polarity or RP from Magnus, it's one of those abilities where he'll usually RP, and it's hard for him to cast another ability right away. Like, I guess he could cast his Shockwave, but there's a little bit of a time in between, where as long as Rubik times it correctly, he can steal the RP from Magnus, which is obviously a very good tool. Magnus doesn't really counter on, or Undyne doesn't really counter. So where Undyne comes into play, so I guess that's right. He's not necessarily a counter to Magnus, but Undying is a very good team fight support hero. Not only can he help to keep teammates alive that maybe get caught in the Magnus RP, he's also a tankier support usually than most other support heroes, so if the initiation happens, he can perhaps survive a bit longer. But the Tombstone is what really makes this hero, and that's that ability where he places Tombstone, he places it somewhere on the map depending on where the fight's taking place, and the Tombstone will spawn these zombies out of the Tombstone that will then run down enemies, and it slows them by a lot, and it also does some damage to them over time. And the longer this Tombstone exists, the more and more and more powerful it'll be in the fight. So you'll see teams trying to prioritize killing a Tombstone right away, and it takes a certain amount of auto attacks to kill it. So if teams are good about just focusing the Tombstone immediately, then maybe it's not the best. But usually you'll see him placing Tombstones in spots that are hard to get to, and so it makes it difficult for the other team. So that's where I do think the Undying is actually a pretty good pick, after the Magnus was first picked there. That's what LGD is going for, right? They're basically saying, okay, yes, we gave you the Magnus again. We know you have strong team fight. We're going to get a couple of heroes, in Undying's case especially, that also has a really strong team fight ability that is on a similar cooldown, perhaps. Dark Willow follow for Spirit. They liked the Dark Willow last game too, so that's just more of a comfort pick, it seems like, for Spirit. Not much analysis needed there, I don't think. But both teams, not necessarily flex picks coming out. This is more of the, we're going to show information early on, but they're support heroes. And so we talk about, okay, if you show information, then you can be countered. Well, support heroes aren't something that you want to all-in counter to most of the time, right? Like, IO is one of those few examples where you could feel like, yeah, we want to get heroes that are maybe really anti-IO. But if you go anti one of the support heroes a bit in your draft, then maybe it's not as strong as far as countering the cores, which are, you know, what really matter in the end, right? So you got to be careful putting too much investment into countering these support heroes. Couple bands to follow. We got the Ursa and the Tai. There's Morphling Kunkka. I know Toronto Tokyo has been playing actually a bit of Kunkka. He's also been playing some Invoker. I would not mind seeing an Invoker again coming out from Team Spirit. Right here. Maybe not the best into a Rubik, though, to be fair. But he is a lot of fun to watch in that hero. So
PSG.LGD's turn.
you always
to
love
ban.
Invoker. Yeah, I mean, I never, I'm never gonna say no to Invoker pickup, honestly. So we'll see if that maybe comes out. But Faceless Void Band. So yeah, Team Spirit. Again, they need to think of a hero that they want to empower now with the Magnus. There's a lot of them. That certainly can be. Luna, excuse me, is definitely one of them again. Why not Luna again? I could actually see that being a very valuable pick. Maybe getting a hero that has some really fast attack speed to take out those tombstones. Something like, I know Lena was brought up in chat there. I could see Lena being half decent here for Team Spirit as a mid option. Sven, he obviously loves the Empower buff. Sven so far, seems okay, I suppose. Without a BKB, he is pretty vulnerable to being kited, though. I don't know if I like Sven this game. Spectre, third pick for LGD. So Spectre, one of these carry heroes that he can assist, especially with the way he builds now, where he gets an early Aghanim Scepter. He has that single target haunt ability. He's kind of a mix now of one that can assist earlier on in the game, but he will definitely be a presence in the late game as well. Ooh, Phantom Assassin. Everyone's favorite pub right-click hero. Yeah, Phantom Assassin definitely benefits from Magnus. So similar concept to the Sven that was brought up, but isn't as concerned about lacking the BKB, because what Phantom Assassin has, so Phantom Assassin, the very general concept of this hero is she's all about crits. Her passive is literally a passive crit ability that increases her damage by a ton. She also has mobility in that she can blink to targets with their, I forget what it's called, but she has basically a blinking to a specific target. She also has evasion built into her.
5 seconds
Can you get down
remaining.
from that chair, please? You can play over here and not on there. They said so, please. Eddie, get down, please.
Team Spirit's turn to ban.
Bloodseeker.
Sorry, distracted there. But yeah, also has some dodge built in, so I like the Phantom Assassin pick. Again, it seems like across the board actually makes a lot of sense. Can be good at killing that tombstone as well, with some increased attack speed. And they go to the Disruptor to help keep people in place with the Glimpse, as well as the Kinetic Field. And the Static Storm, potentially going to be a good tool as well for catching even somebody like the Spectre, if he's not ready for it. Bloodseeker, another interesting one here. By LGD, they go the Bloodseeker pick. So Bloodseeker, where his strength is the Rupture. He's all about the lower health people have around you, the more effective he is. He gains a ton of movement speed, and I believe it's attack speed too, right? Where he gains all this speed, basically, the less life enemy units have around him. On top of that, he has a huge AoE silence, as well as the Rupture ability, which is a single target. He puts it on somebody, and if they move while they're ruptured, they'll take damage. So the idea is you rupture somebody to keep them in place, or they have to make the decision to kind of run and take damage as they're doing so to still try to get away. But it could be a good tool for, running really any of these heroes down. Now, you're going up against a Glimpse. Disruptor's a little bit annoying for Bloodseeker, but with the BKB, that won't matter. Also is a possible, as being brought up, is also a possible Blade Mail core. Where Blade Mail is the item that it'll return damage on use. It reflects damage back to the attacker. And Phantom Assassin, who gets these big hits off with these crits, if you have a Blade Mail activated and she gets a big crit off, then suddenly she's hitting herself for a ton of damage. So maybe that's a possibility too, I suppose. But right now, LGD, their team fight is okay, but they do feel like they are somewhat more single target focused. And Spirit has the team fight won overall for sure. So I don't know if LGD is going to finish with an offlane hero that will complete that. They can't go the Tidehunter. Obviously there are still options. Maybe something like, I don't know, is Legion Commander good? I guess to maybe help save the Bloodseeker Spectre. The Purge is good against RP stuns. This will be interesting to see what they go for. Unless it's an offlane Bloodseeker, they could need a mid-hero still. A core Undying? Yeah, I mean, Undying, it has been played core before, certainly. Yeah, usually you would see him more of a support role, though. If he plays core, it's because you want to get him those utility items. He's not necessarily a blink core. He's more of a, you know, the mech, the Astrolabe, the Guardian Greaves, the Crimson Guard, really these aura-based heavy teamfight utility items. Oh my god. And we're gonna see the Invoker anyways. I love it. I absolutely love it. I really don't think this is the best Invoker game, but Toronto Tokyo has proved to play this hero so well in this tournament, so I just love seeing it anyways.
Choose your hero.
Okay, they go the Tinker. Interesting. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so Tinker. So it is an offlane Bloodseeker. Tinker pick. So Tinker, the couple of times I've seen Tinker in this tournament, has actually wrecked face. Tinker used to really especially be all about split pushing the rat style Dota. He teleports to lanes. He has this rearm ability that's his ultimate that actually it removes the cooldowns that are currently active on any other abilities after a channel time of like 2 or 3 seconds, depending on the level that it is. So what this hero does at level 6, starting with level 6, and he also gets an ability now that actually he could just teleport to any target on the map. That's as long as it's an ally target, so a creep or a building. At level 6, you'll see he'll start moving around the map quite a bit. He'll go back to the fountain, he'll regenerate, he'll teleport somewhere else, he'll set up a push, he'll teleport back, and so he's good at moving from lane to lane to keep these lanes pushed in. But with the hero way he works now with some the ability changes, he now can actually team fight a bit better as well. He has this defensive matrix ability that he can apply to his targets, his allies, that actually reduce crowd control done to them as well as absorb some damage. But he's also constantly launching out these rockets and doing this laser spam in these fights. Laser happens to be decent against a Phantom Assassin as well, where it'll provide a miss chance on the target that they hit with the laser. And Phantom Assassin's all about, you know, hitting people with that right click. So if she's missing constantly, then that could be annoying. So I think that's maybe a reason why they like the Tinker too. But the downside of a Tinker is he is very susceptible to getting caught. And I look at this Radiant team, they have a lot of ways to catch the Tinker, from the Disruptor Glimpse at Kinetic Field, the Stack Storm especially, to the Skewer Jumps from Magnus, to the Bramble Maze even, if Dark Will is a decent range for catching. Invoker, I mean, really all of these heroes are not too shabby at catching the Tinker. So I don't know about this Tinker pick, honestly. Yeah, this is really, I'm not feeling the most confident in LGD's draft, I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the least confident I felt in their draft in all 3 games. As we got a big brawl here. Total number of trees destroyed by 30, who the fuck cares? There are several abilities that can destroy trees, so I'm gonna say 0 to 50, 51, 71, 75. Time on first tower destruction. 5 to 8. Highest amount of physical damage a hero will do to another in one hit. Welcome to Phantom Assassin. We're going to say 1,000 plus. Last player to be killed. Who cares? Bloodseeker. Okay, 1 second, guys. I got to go get a snack for my daughter, so I'll be right back. I'm going to leave it on director cam for a second. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Let's put this back on. Okay, here we go. So no kills yet, right? All right, so I didn't miss any kills there. That's good. No really action. So Undying, I've mentioned the Tombstone. Another thing that go figure, I missed a kill. Bottom lane. Okay, Xin Q. Looks like Rubik goes down, the Phantom Assassin Disruptor. So Phantom Assassin's not critting yet. Again, she needs level 6 for a coup de grace. Which is that passive that you see. 200% critical chance damage, up to 450% at level 3. It is absolutely insane. Most of these big red numbers start popping up. But Undying has this what's called Decay, which is this Q ability, which we're constantly seeing him use over and over again, which reduces the steal strength, basically, from the enemy. Up to 4 strength here, you're seeing, so he's using it, and we see these stacks are adding up. It's 4 strength or 4 stacks every time it's used, and if he keeps the Decay, it constantly can be stacked on an enemy. So the more strength he steals, what that does, it removes life from the enemy, and their maximum life, but it also gives him more maximum life in the meantime, while that is actively stolen. So it's a great lane harassing tool, especially, and he's really trying to line it up to hit both of them. Now, a good counter to it in the laning phase is having a magic stick, because he's using that ability so often. That a magic stick, every time an ability is used around you, it gives you a charge that then can be used for life and mana back quickly. So we'll see some value there coming out. But yeah, this mid matchup, definitely want to keep a close eye on this one. It is going to be a Quaswex Invoker, I'm guessing. That's all that we have seen here, as Y kills himself to the tower. So that's something else we'll see support heroes especially do it early on in the game. You may be like, well, what does he do? Why did he just like suicide? Is he raging? No, it's a strategy. He was basically out of resources. He was out of mana. So he could run back to base, spend all that time buying all that stuff, and then go back to the lane. Or he could just commit suicide there to the tower, which gives a little bit of gold to the team, but it's very minimal in the big picture in terms of how much time it saves him as a hero to then get back to the lane as soon as possible. And what we also saw him do right there is refresh the bottle of Tinker. So there's a little trick that you can do when your mid has a bottle. Invoker's one of the few heroes that doesn't get a bottle, by the way. But when your mid has a bottle, you could teleport to the mid lane after you're at the fountain, because what the fountain does, it provides a buff that you get that increases your life and mana dramatically, but it also refills a bottle up to full charges. That buff lingers on you for the first couple of seconds when you teleport somewhere. And so the strategy is the support. We saw him there, Undying TP'd in. He traded the bottle to Undying for that second, which then the game's like, oh, you're in the fountain. So it filled it up, and then Undying just gives the bottle back to Tinker. So we'll see some teams do that sometimes to refresh the bottle there for their mid hero, because again, you're a support. You're here to really stimulate your carries and make sure they get as much farm as possible, right? Is kind of the general idea there, as Dark Will is going to kill the courier here. That's a really big courier, by the way. That's an only Falcon Blade dead, and that's so the courier kill, as we talked about before, not only does that put that courier on cooldown now while it's dead for a minute plus, but the items that were on the courier are still on the courier and cannot be accessed by Spectre now. So it really sets him behind that much further at that top lane. It's extra annoying. But Twinker is going the... Twinker. I meant to say Invoker, and I said Twinker. Invoker is going the Quaswex build, and what I mean by that, I'm not going to give a whole tutorial on this hero, but simply put, he has these 3 different orbs that he can level up, which give him access to certain abilities, depending on how the orbs are lined up. Quaswex, what this is, it's more of a crowd control heavy build, especially earlier on in the game. That's Phantom Assassin. He got low there, but that's that Phantom Strike coming into play. He Phantom Strikes to a creep to get out of that huge silence of Bloodseeker. They want the kill, though, and they get it. That is the benefit of Thirst kicking in right there. So Bloodseeker, we mentioned, when heroes are low around him, it increases his attack speed and move speed by a ton. We see right here kind of kicking in. But it also grants vision of the enemy in the area. the lower life they are. So like Miposhka, they see him this whole time running into the tree, so they're confident diving him. Zinq is going to die for this, though. And now Undying's probably dead, too, because he does not have a TP. So I don't know about that dive right there. They just gave up both of their supports just to kill the Disruptor support in the trees. That was a little antsy there, a little over the top, but either way, it happened. But yeah, Invoker going Quas Wex is much more crowd control heavy, as he's going to head back to the mid lane here. And eventually he'll get start leveling up Exort, of course, and that gives him access to all of his abilities potential. But he'll continue to be until the very late game, until the later game, much more crowd control based, more about using that EMP, the Tornado. It increases the effectiveness of those abilities the more these Quas and Wex orbs are leveled up. Again, hard to understand if you've never played or seen Invoker before, but that's the general idea. Yeah, Tinker is a great lane harasser with that laser especially, but as being pointed out in chat, Invoker is really good at sustaining life, as they're going to go for a killer on Tinker. There's the EMP. What that does when that explodes, it steals mana for Invoker, basically. He takes mana from enemies it hits, and it gives it to himself. So, and it also does damage based on how much mana it steals. They try to go for the combo there on a Tinker. Not enough damage for the kill, but they do keep up that harassment pretty well. But yeah, the Quas, when he has these Quas orbs around him, they actually regenerate his life. You see the more levels he has of it, the more HP regen those orbs provide. So what's usually Tinker being a great harasser in the lane and getting people low, that regeneration is doing a lot of work right now for Invoker. Does it steal mana rather than burn? I'm pretty sure it steals mana, yeah? I play a bit of Invoker. I played it even recently. I swore I was getting mana as a result. Unless I'm missing something. We're going to see it right here. EMP. Draining mana. Deals damage. If the EMP drains mana from an enemy hero, Invoker gains 50% of the mana drain. So it gains 50% of it. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a steal, right? Okay, there's that Rupture. So again, if Phantom Assassin moves, he's taking damage, but he's trying to get away far enough right here. But it is going to be a kill. They also use the Spectre Haunt, by the way, to assist. And there's also the Tombstone. So we get a couple of things right there we see out of LGD in terms of what they're going to do well this game. Great job. Good coordination, taking out the Phantom Assassin specifically. And Spectre showing that he can be useful earlier on too. But Magnus is building that mech again, just like he did last game, and he's doing it really well. He's going to skewer away the Rubik. Gets lifted in. But again, with this Rubik snap pick response, LGD, that for me is going to be a key to watch, and how this Rubik plays against Magnus, if he's able to steal these RPs especially. Even if he can steal the Empower, like that's actually not a bad tool to have for his team. But stealing Empower usually is a bit rougher because, again, you steal the last ability that was used. So pretty much Magnus would need to use Empower and then run towards Rubik and not cast anything else, basically. So the chances of that, you know, might be pretty small happening. Yeah, Bloodseeker is, it's kind of Bloodhunter, but it's changed so much over time that they are fairly different heroes now. That huge AoE silence that Bloodseeker has helps, as you point out, you know, kind of makes him able to play a lot more team fight oriented even throughout the game. So yeah, he's not your typical, you know, blink initiation hero by any means, but he does have initiation with the Rupture. It's almost like a Legion Commander style where it's that single target jump, right? Tinker, by the way, we're starting to see come online. That's how you want to say it. As I said, as soon as he gets level 6, we start seeing him being very mobile. They're going to get some more jungle items. He's got a blink now. He's going to be working on an axe, which that does the laser upgrade, right? Yeah. So, which allows him to use his laser a bit more effectively, which actually reduces the current health that stacks on the enemy. Oh, interesting. And it makes it even more of a cast range. Very interesting tool. Down here, This is a smoke play. There is a ward there, but obviously, again, they're invis to the ward, so they're not necessarily being seen. But the Dire team is going to make their escape. Now, this is a... The smoke is... Okay, this is still active. Oof. They're so close, but good job by LGD somehow evading all this. Spectre. Oh, no, Spectre. Yeah, now, and the Spectre's alone. He doesn't have Haunt. 7 more seconds. The Bramble Maze. He's going to get out. Very close. Oh, no, they glimpsed him back in. Isn't enough damage, though. The heal coming in. Great support coming out. The Tornado connects, but it's not enough damage in the end. And 2 kills in response for LGD, so very close call on the Spectre. The glimpse pullback almost was enough to do it. But LGD stays alive. Meanwhile, Phantom Assassin farming elsewhere. MPA is a hero that doesn't mind farming quite a bit earlier on, especially with that Empower. Again, she can fight, but she at least wants her Black King bar. Kind of like the Luna, where once she has the Black King bar, that's where Phantom Assassin will have more interest in fighting. Again, making her magic immune to the crowd control especially, which is what can hurt this hero. So Spectre is going the early Aghanims. Again, that provides the Haunt single target ability, the Shadow Step I think it's called, yeah. So, like I've talked about, when he uses Haunt, it creates an illusion on every enemy that he can then teleport to, and kind of be slippery throughout fights, keep you guessing on what's going on. In the case of Shadow Step, it's a much lesser cooldown. Haunt is 180 seconds. Shadow Step is only a 30-second cooldown, I believe. It's single target, but you can just imagine how that could be a pretty powerful tool for the Spectre. So yeah, he is prioritizing it, as we've been seeing a lot. One thing to note, though, with Invoker, the EMP ability, unless it's changed, I don't think it has. Or maybe it's Tornado, actually, right? Maybe it's a Tornado that I'm thinking about. But anyways, it'll instantly kill illusions, right? Because a Tornado purges them, but I don't read anything about it there, so I'm actually not sure now. Magnus, by the way, gets caught up here at the top lane, so that's a big catch. He used his mech even. Not enough, but once he gets that blink, that's where we'll start to see the Magnus, of course, look to do work. I gotta say, for LGD, though, they've done a pretty good job this game as far as setting a nice tempo, even.
Radiant are scanning.
But until they win a big team fight, I still don't know how sold I am on this lineup. I keep going back to that. Invoker does have the 1 point in Exort now, which gives him access to all of his abilities if he wants to use them.
Radiant's middle tower is under
He also is
attack.
going the Hand of Midas route. They're going to try to go for a kill on Spectre, who did not expect all these people to be here. Tombstone's put down. It's enough damage, though. They're going to kill Mira. They will also take him a Poshka, but Invoker, they saw him there because of the dust. The sentry's out of range. They know he's here somewhere. He's going to go for the TP play. The vision, the silence. It's not going to matter. They needed a stun. And Invoker didn't have the mana. I guess maybe it wasn't close enough. But either way, Invoker escaped. So I still think you like Spirit there because a couple things. One, they killed the carry to lose 2 supports. But it got all of that response, right? Nearly everyone TP to the bottom lane to help the Spectre there. And so they used a lot of time, a lot of resources. I actually think that is worth it for Spirit in the end. But once again, we're seeing Tinker do his thing of back and forth.
Radiant's
He's going to be
middle tower
constantly
is
going
under
from
attack.
lane to lane and pushing it out. Invoker almost has a Hand of Midas. This item is just a straight up farming tool. It happens to increase your attack speed as well slightly, but it allows you to transmute a creep, whether that's a creep in the lane or even in some neutral creeps, and it'll give you gold back and experience back on use. It has a fairly longer cooldown. I don't know exactly where we're at right now, but let's see, 90-second cooldown, but it gives you 160 gold and 2.1 times the experience. It cannot be used on ancient creeps, but everything else you can use it on. But it's a good farming tool for Invoker, who, you know, would usually rather use these abilities more for teamfight presence, or Hand of Midas allows him to just keep that farm up. Now, bottom lane, this is interesting here because both teams have supports nearby. But it doesn't look like we're going to see initiation in the end. Bloodseeker. Okay, Bloodseeker going the Rod of Atos. So what is a good tool for... Oh, that's a glimpse stolen, by the way, by Rubik. Then he steals Shockwave. So, again, not necessarily an ability he's hoping to have. It's just that line nuke. But it's something. Gonna use it there to farm. What was I going to say? Fuck. Oh, Rod of Atos for Bloodseeker. We do not see this item often, but it's a single target ensnare, basically. It roots a target in place when you activate it on them, which is good for Bloodseeker for allowing damage, but it's also good against, like, a Phantom Assassin to kind of keep him crowd controlled, right? You know, you keep him in place. If he's not right-clicking people, then he's not really doing his job. And so if you net him in place, obviously it makes sense why that would be good. He is going to TP out as suspicious that a gank was coming, and he's definitely correct. So very good heads up from Yutaro there.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
He's gonna port elsewhere. He finished the SNY, or the Sanjin Yasha. You'll commonly see it or hear it referred to SNY. Again, being Sanjin Yasha. It's just one of these just raw stat items that does quite a bit, including status resistance. As that was an RP. They caught one. They caught the Bloodseeker, and it's gonna be enough for the kill. Looks like, yes, just enough. The hunt in response, however, the Radiant team running now. Mira will TP out. They did kill Invoker at the bottom. Okay. So Spectre ends up killing Invoker down here while that was taking place. Looks like maybe Rubik assisting Brett, but another skewer, and they catch Undying this time. Is it a Z-bomb for him? And Ami's going to actually pour through it with that Shadow Step. And they will take out Phantom Assassin, so Tinker diving pretty far for this. Collapse, running back in, trying to take advantage of it now, but without Phantom Assassin, Invoker's up in 3 seconds. Nice stun, though, from the Dark Willow on both. Nothing to say. He's going to go down. Tinker dead. Collapse, skewering is away. Invoker is coming back in soon. Where is he? Here he is. Bloodseeker silence, out of range of that. Glimpse him back. Oh, Spectre. He got brought back. He TP'd out, but he got glimpsed back. Beautiful play by Disruptor. Invoker ruptured up. Has to stay still. Deafening blast. Push them back. He's going to go a little bit forward as the rupture is worn off now. But Spectre, does he dare go in on this? The silence, the deafening blast from Rubik coming out, and yes, he does. Spectre using that Aghanim Scepter to full effect and takes out Invoker again. So we are really seeing the clutch use of this item right here. That Shadow Step, oh my God, is it strong on
Middle tower is under attack.
on the Spectre. But so what we saw there, though, the glimpse back onto Spectre, what I mean by that is that that's another trick you could do, both as a send back or also to bring somebody back who starts to TP away. He used glimpse as the Spectre teleported away back to base, which then brought him right back into the fight immediately, which in the big picture
Middle tower is under attack.
probably was a bad decision. You know, in the moment it made sense, but obviously we saw the end result. Didn't make a lot of sense. But another trick you could also do, if somebody TPs into the lane, for example, to start a fight, if you use Glimpse on them within like 3 seconds of them TPing into the lane, they'll get sent back to the fountain or wherever they came from, right? So you do got to be careful when you're playing against a Disruptor to make sure that doesn't happen to you.
Dire's
20 minutes.
top
Oh,
tower
good job
is
there by
under
Mira. He
attack.
just takes out the Haster and realizing he wasn't going to get it. Mid lane, again, Invoker in trouble. He's got Rupture on him. Looks like he might survive in the end. Yeah, he'll live. Dust eventually comes out, but I think Invoker's a little too far. Man, those rockets are doing so much damage!
Under attack.
Oh my God, there's Spectre. He'll finish the job. God, the rocket spam of Tinker just continues over and over, and now I see Yutaro,
Middle tower
who is
under
going
attack.
to be able to TP out from the Spectre. We, of course, can't stop him, but man, oh man, that is something. That is Tinker for you. He could just sit in the back and just spam those rockets. But yeah, you also saw the Tombstone that was placed. Again, Tombstone, one of these abilities that you just do not want to fight around. What is Phantom Assassin doing? Oh my God. Jumping in right here. Collapse is dead. And Phantom Assassin, they killed the Bloodseeker, but now PA needs to be careful. This Undying is just tanking him up. He is eventually going to get cut down. Invoker is up in 3 seconds. Tinker, though, is doing so much work right now. He's going to get another kill.
I hope it's clear which of us has the degree.
So yeah, the Tinker pick is certainly proven to be a good one now for LGD. Although on paper, you know, there were some concerns with, is he going to get caught in these fights, or is he trying to split push? It's there, but when he's fighting like that with a front line to just protect him, and again, that goes back to the Tombstone. Tombstone is just one of these tools. You either have to kill quickly, or you try to run away from that area of where the fight's happening. And that's why I do really like this Undying pick, honestly, from LGD as that response to the Magnus opener, as I was saying. Because it's also a great protection for a hero like Tinker, who wants to just sit back and spam rockets and lasers.
Bottom tower is
Let me
under
double
attack.
damage rune.
Dire's top tower is
See,
under
Bloodseeker
attack.
pick it up. Spectre is Sandwraith, essentially, yeah. Again, as usual, they've changed a little bit, but it is essentially him. Magnus RP ready. They're smoking in offensively. Uh-oh. Again, that double damage. They catch Magnus. That's a great target to catch. He is just going to skewer. He's Rupture, but he's just going to skewer anyway. And he'll TP out, so very good move. The kinetic field also blocking the support from getting in there. Phantom Assassin. But again, so like, you see what was used. The resources used right there. He used a BKB and a lot of time just to kill a support. If I'm LGD, I'm honestly fine with him dying right there. Is he going to Mock? No. Radiance build on Spectres isn't really the meta right now. It was for a while, and it has kind of made its comebacks every now and then. But Radiance isn't an item we really see as a farming tool right now in the game. Instead, he builds more of this Aghanim Scepter, like we talked about, which gives him that single target haunt, into then just kind of stat-based. He'll build a Manta Style. He might go Naya Scotty. He might go the Butterfly, you know, things like that.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Not the best Roshan killing team. This is a lineup where when it comes to minus armor and single target damage, they aren't really the greatest at it. So when it comes to killing Roshan, LGD isn't going to be able to do it quickly. So they try right there a little bit, but realize it's not worth the effort. Undying. He's ready to go. Tombstone on the uphill. Yes, he's going to place it up here. Trying to catch. No, Mira's just going to TP out in front. A smart decision. And that's a Tombstone cooldown, which isn't short. Oh, I guess it is. It's actually 55 seconds at level 4. It's really not too bad. Less than I thought. Uh-oh. Invoker's caught the Rod of Atos. He's ruptured up. He's like, I gotta run, but to what end? He's just dead. Good work with the Rupture. This Bloodseeker also proven to be a good pick.
Dire are scanning.
Yeah, I go back to, I called it too.
Under attack.
This Invoker pick, hey, I love seeing it. Toronto Tokyo is fun to play it. He's proven to do it very well. This game, though, Invoker really did not feel the best. Already into a Rubik. He had the, what does this guy do? He's just showing off his blink, or is there actually a tactic there? I'm not sure. They might catch him. Yeah, they're going to catch him. Ooh. Tried to horn toss him. So he jumped in and tried to hit a horn toss, but that was a kind of a hope for the best, swing and a miss. We do see what's called a Tinker Ward, though, coming out. This was a appropriately named Tinker Ward because there's these cliffs up here on the map in certain places. There's one right here. There's one over here. There's like another one down here, where if you place a ward of sight, it gives you vision in that area of all these trees. And it's called the Tinker Ward because Tinker, what he's notorious for doing, is he's kind of doing there, is he jumps throughout the trees constantly to push a lane.
Dire's courier.
So if you give yourself that vision in those trees, then it prevents him from doing that as effectively, of course, as once again, they get the Tombstone to use and they just run away. One sec.
Dire's Dire's structures are fortified.
All right, big fight right here. That was an RP used to look-alike. They kill Bloodseeker off the bat. Tinker, though. Oh, he runs into Magnus. He's going to try to burst him down before he TP's out. No! Magnus actually escaped. Wow. Again, missed the beginning of that. Sorry, I got distracted there with something. But Team Spirit, they kill Bloodseeker and they get out. That was an RP used. Oh, yeah, Tinker not being... Yeah, he's a hero. I don't mind that. Was ever in Han. Yeah, the fact that only one hero died in that, pretty crazy. But the Team Spirit playstyle of this game is really interesting. It is a very methodical... We go in for a little bit of damage, a little bit of time. Sorry. Thought I heard something. Anyways, they go in for a little bit of damage, a little bit of time, but then they want to fall back. They want to retreat. They want to get the Tombstone used. They use RP for the quick kill, then they retreat. Now, RP's on cooldown. They know this. There's a Tombstone. Oh, nice fear out from Dark Willow. That's her Terrorize ultimate. She puts a AoE Shadow Bolt down, basically, that fears anyone that's hit by it. Oh my god, this Phantom Assassin might be dead. He used to be, could be really late. Has to man mode, and this Phantom Assassin is just dead. 74 seconds. PA is completely down for no buyback. Disruptor's dead as well. So not only do they secure Roshan and get the Spectre, the Aegis, but yeah, I don't know about that. Choosing to stick around and fight still. So just as I got finished talking about Team Spirit, how they're playing a very methodical game, not really overcommitting, they kind of overcommit there. They did not have RP. It wasn't going to be up for a while. You really just got to get to a point where you kind of just accept that Roshan's dead, I feel like. But they did not, and LGD, they capitalized big time. Not only do they kill the Roshan, but they take out Phantom Assassin, who, like I said, is still dead for another 40 seconds here. Oh, and they also got the Magnus. Tinker found him. It results in another kill up there. Tinker's also got a Scythe in the works. This is, I think once the Scythe pickup happens, I do think that's the no looking back for LGD moment. So again, with Tinker, he has this rearm where it removes cooldowns on all his abilities. It also works on items. Now the Scythe, or the Sheep Stick as it's referred to, it's an item that's a single target hex ability that lasts a certain duration, 2.5, 3 seconds or whatever it is. It makes it so they can't cast anything, and they're also slower movement. As a Tinker, you can literally spam a sheep on somebody indefinitely. You know, on paper, theoretically, whatever, like you could do that. He doesn't have it yet, as there is a fight breaking out here in the mid lane. Again, they kill Phantom Assassin, though. And Toronto Tokyo, trying to run from a distance, is putting out what he can. Throws a meatball down. They're going to kill the Bloodseeker, or the Bloodhunter even. But now Dark Willow exposed. Yules will keep her alive.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Haunt back in. Uh-oh. Just the immediate TP. Toronto Tokyo, dead again. Yeah, Invoker again. So the point I was making there, Invoker was not a good pick this game. To me, it did feel like one of those them feeling themselves picks, as far as sometimes when you got a player that's playing so well through this tournament, you just kind of want to go a pick that he just likes to play and is flashy, he's comfortable with. But this game, it did not make a lot of sense. Into the Bloodseeker, into the Rubik. Was already, you know, fairly countered there. And then on top of that, the Tinker matchup, I mean, I suppose the Tinker matchup not horrible. But really just hasn't had any impact. And then what's Phantom Assassin's bane is crowd control, and this Dire team has just done a great job of CC. I mean, Invoker again going to be jumped right here, another Rupture, and it's like, what do? He just pops BKB, realizes he's trying to kill his Tombstone, he gets healed up. Undying heals the Tombstone, finally it goes down, and Invoker is going to live through the Rupture. Phantom Assassin goes back in, but see, Phantom Assassin just jumps in, finally pops the BKB, gets a big hit off there. Sunstrike, no, it's not going to connect. You just saw how low PA got, though. Thank God for that Paladin sword. Actually healing her up a little bit. Does she go into Ags? Interesting. So she got that shard. What does that do? Phantom Knives. Phantom Assassin releases shards of blades, dealing 60% of the victim's max health and impact. Oh, interesting. Oh, and it applies a break effect. Okay, so she has the shards effect, which she can now use on a 15-second cooldown. Just some more damage, but it also applies a break, which is very good against Spectre. I didn't even realize that they had a break effect. So breaking both the Dispersion and the Desolate. It also breaks the Thirst of Bloodseeker, which is that passive that allows him to move and attack much faster depending on enemies around him being lesser health. So, yeah, the break effect's pretty good here. And PA does continue to be the top farm. A refresher orb queued up. What? Am I missing something here? There's no way he's going refresher orb, right? He's just trolling us. That one I would be really confused by. Unless it's just for double BKB. Like, that's the only reason I can think of. I mean, double Phantom Knives, I guess, is pretty good too, but double BKB, maybe not a bad option. Yeah, 60% of max HP. Honestly, double Phantom Knives does sound pretty nasty in the right position. It really does. Jump here. Did he get the tombstone down? It looks like he did. Magnus, he is going to go for the TP play. That ain't happening, but there is Phantom Assassin jumping in after the fact, but Undying, this is a support that just tanks up. Phantom Assassin just TPs out in front of them with the BKB active. And so you see a jump onto a support, and they can't even kill the Undying. That's just when you know, again, things are just not going in your favor right now.
That should help.
If you're Team Spirit. They also have Bloodseeker with the Heaven's Halberd. This item, an amazing tool against the Phantom Assassin. It will disarm the Phantom Assassin for 3 seconds in fights, which is similar to like an Ursa or Sven, or, you know, those kind of heroes that just rely on just right-clicking people down. Heaven's Halberd, an awesome tool to have, so Bloodseeker proven to have a good pickup there. Yeah, I think he's kind of just either he's not sure what he's going to build yet, but I don't know. Maybe there is something to this refresher build. So what refresher does, just to clarify, it's an item that you can build that when you activate it, it'll, similar to Tinker's Rearm, it'll literally just take off all the cooldowns of every single ability that you have. And then it puts Refresher Orb on a very long cooldown. It puts it like on a 3-minute cooldown, 160 seconds almost. So there are some heroes, like big ulti heroes, like for example, Magnus, you know, double RP is definitely not bad. But Phantom Assassin isn't necessarily a hero that screams being able to use certain abilities twice. It does work on items too, so that's why I say double Black King Bar as a possibility. But he has changed it up now to the axe, which I was reading that. So this blur ability, it's what allows him to turn kind of invis, and it basically gives him a smoke of deceit as an individual target that doesn't get exposed unless he gets near a hero. So what the axe does, it looks like it makes it an instant cast, and it applies a dispel. So he can remove things like the laser debuff of Tinker is probably a big one. And it reduces the cooldown as well, down to 10 seconds. Oh, wow, from 45 to 10 seconds. Yeah, Axe on Phantom Assassin, I can see that being pretty good. Now he's got a Nullifier queued up. He's just all over the place. He's not even sure what he wants to do, I guess. Gonna TP out here. That's what he's sure about, and yeah, cannot be stopped. Magnus, awkward. Screwed somebody up here. Now he's in trouble. There's a jump up. The Infinite Sheep, not even needed.
You can keep your magic.
Tinker also has an Aeon Disc himself now, too, by the way. So even if he does get caught, he has that kind of second life there. Yeah, Tinker Laser is a big deal. Yeah. So I think that against Tinker would be good. But now he has a Nullifier queued up, so Phantom Assassin really not sure what to do. Nullifier I could see being another decent item on him. Just it is raw damage. What Nullifier does, it's a dispel basically. It also, so it looks like it also slows. Anytime the target is attacked, it will be slow when he applies that. But it dispels the target when used on them for 5 seconds. And there's things like that where, actually, speaking of the Aeon Disc, it's pretty good against that, where you can dispel the buff that Aeon Disc provides after it procs. So there is that it can be good for.
For the twins.
How's Invoker looking? That was another Roshan kill, by the way. Spectre gets the Aegis. Has the Shard as well. Causes dispersion of our Spectral Dagger. Every 300 damage absorbed. So yeah, that Spectral Dagger, his Q ability, that he can throw out a dagger and he can run, you know, through trees and stuff with it. It also follows the target that it hits. He now kind of gets that just proccing off of him because he has the Aghanim Shard. So great tool there. Tinker hits level 25, the first hero to do so, I believe. Yep. And why that's important is because that's the last talent in the talent tree. Every hero has these talents where every 5 levels, starting with level 10, you get to choose between 2 different talents. The level 25 talents, usually considered pretty big ones. In this case, it's more laser damage, which we see him just spamming in these fights as well. So you can just imagine how that's adding up and doing a lot. Shiva's picked up by Invoker. A lot of armor for him, but also on activation, and it provides this freezing wave that goes out that deals damage, but it's a 40% slow. And it also gives vision to everything it hits, so it's actually pretty good against somebody like a Tinker. It's good against Bloodseeker. Phantom Assassin is committed to the Nullifier now. What's happening? Wait, who did he kill? Let's kill the Poshka down here. Tier 4 items are starting to drop. That's pretty significant too. Catch Rubik. Invoker, he's just going to try to run once again. Phantom Assassin needs to BKB, goes in, gets a quick kill, goes for the TP, and they didn't have a stopper. Yeah, they do not have any blinks or some BKB stoppers. As Invoker is finally going to die. I guess they have a Basher on Spectre, so if the Basher procs, then that will stop. So what I mean by that, when you activate Blacking Bar, again, it makes you immune to all magic damage and crowd control. However, there's physical or piercing magic abilities that can go through it. Basher is one of those, where on the proc chance, it's an item that provides you a mini stun, basically, on a target based on RNG. Now, so if Spectre's hitting the BKB target that's trying to TP out, if he gets a bash, it'll stop them. Now he has Abyssal Blade, though, where he can use the Abyssal Blade on somebody, which teleports him to the target. It's a small range, but still, it will pierce spell immunity, and it does provide a 2-second stun. So now he has a choice to stop and not relying on RNG there. Yeah. So the TPing out is something that is a thing of the past at this point. So we're seeing tier 4 items are popping out. Again, pretty significant, as you'd expect. Tier 4 items are a bit of a step up in terms of how useful they are. The ninja gear picked up by Phantom Assassin. So he could be a little more slippery now. He has the Nullifier. And he goes back to the Refresher queued up. So I can't tell if that's kind of his, I'm just going to keep this here while I'm thinking about what to go item, or if he is genuinely thinking about a Refresher Orb. Again, the only thing I can really think is, unless I'm underestimating this Fan of Knives ability. Like, a double Fan of Knives might be the play. Mixed with a double BKB. As Miposhka is going to just TP, not Miposhka, but Miro's TP's out. Oh, Invoker charged into the base. They just run him down. There's still a minute left on this Aegis.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Double damage rune down here, but LGD not concerned about that right now. Invoker is not buying back. He's out for 60 seconds.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, that's a kill on a Dark Willow. The glimpse back. Okay.
Radiant's bottom
Magnus
tower
trying to horn toss him, trying to get him into the fountain. That would have been something, but
Dire's top tower
not
is
going to
under
happen.
attack.
Phantom Assassin. He's trying to see about going in. They still got 20 more seconds on Evoker, so yeah, it's just best. They're going to give up the racks here. Phantom Assassin just will farm elsewhere.
Radiant's bottom barracks
All three games all one way. I don't know if that's. I don't feel that way at least. I think all three games have actually been pretty entertaining. And even though the end result, yeah, seemed to lean towards one way, it's not like it came down to the wire as far as the finish, but I don't think it was just complete stomps from the beginning. This one, I don't think it was a complete stomp from the beginning. There were some critical fights that started to take place, and ooh, and a player has paused the game. Usually, on a main stage, especially, don't see that too often. But pause coming out, I'm sure some kind of tech pause. As I don't think you're allowed a strategy pause technically. Yeah, the Phantom Assassin pick 2. I mean, I still stand by the Invoker. It feels really weak this game. I even called it in the draft. Entertainment factor 10 out of 10. The reliability factor of this game, it actually being a good pick this game, maybe like a 3 out of 10. Invoker just feels so weak this game. And so they really are playing around this Phantom Assassin with an underfarmed core mid, undervalue even, and he is going Refresher. I mean, I guess we're learning something here. So the double Phantom Knives, the double BKB. Those are the two abilities that I can think of why he really wants this Refresher. Because again, to clarify, the ultimate coup de grace, it's a passive. There's no Refresher needed, right? So. At least it's going for a 5th game. I mean, well, this is game 3, so it'd be a 4th game. We haven't made it all the way there yet. But it does go back to the logic, LGD, hey, 1 game at a time. And if they do end up winning this game, of course, as it looks like that they're going to, then certainly keep that mentality. Still exist, 1 game at a time. We'll see. See the net worth graph. Game's heavily favoring LGD quite a bit, 96-4. Yeah, even throughout most of the game though, even up until about the 20-minute. Well, here's where it dove down. So about 17, 18 minutes in, it was 64-36, which isn't dramatic. But then yeah, right here, a lot happened in favor of LGD. Started to pick up quite a bit. So yeah, welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's awesome to still see so many viewers. I really do appreciate it, everyone. Again, shout out to Excalibur for the host earlier as well. Good guy and sending people my way, and very thankful for that. So hopefully you're enjoying the grand finals here of TI10. We're having fun commentating on it, doing our own thing on our own stream with it. We are doing a full-time streaming once again. Monday through Friday is when our usual schedule is. Starting at 9 a.m. Eastern, we go for about 5 hours or so. And we play a lot of games from Dota to Han or Diablo, Hearthstone, whatever makes sense, but a little more MOBA focused lately. A little Dota focused a lot lately because of TI, but obviously TI over after today, so we'll see how next week looks. I think starting with this next week, I am going to do a kind of a MOBA week where each day I'll play a different MOBA game. Maybe starting with like a Heroes of the Storm tomorrow on Monday. And Thursday is my birthday, so I'm going to have a birthday stream there too. I'm not exactly sure, honestly, what I'm going to do yet. But Thursday will probably be Heroes of New Earth for quite a bit on Thursday. And we'll think of some other stuff to do. I might do my hot tub stream on Thursday as well, as our 150 sub goal was hit, and thus the hot tub stream came out. Or we gotta do one there. All right, back to the game though. Bloodseeker. He's got his own Black King bar now. Got his Tinkers. Looking pretty good. He's got the Timeless Relic as well, which increases that spell damage and the debuff duration, which is very good for him. A Tombstone put down over here. Haunted, they're just they're running down an Invoker. And he is going to pop BKB and Deafening Blast, but the Rupture, TP, if he TP'd immediately, maybe, but if he TP'd right away, he actually might have gotten away. He's still alive. God, he survived for it. But look at, he just seems just running this whole time. And even now, Yotoro's actually still not out of here. Eventually, Phantom Strike Owain is fine. But he had to use a BKB just to survive. The recipe, he needs about, what, 400 more gold. All right, sounds good, Kiki. Appreciate that. Rubik, he stole the Ghost Walk from Invoker, so he's been using that to scout and get information for the team. So there is the orb. Okay. Refresh orb, finish on Phantom Assassin. I mean, we'll see. It's get an idea as far as maybe what this next fight may look like. It's essentially going to give him 12 seconds now of Blacking Bar, which is good. And again, double Phantom Knives. Not too shabby.
Haste.
This is definitely going to be the fight to end it, though. Whether or not Spirit actually has a chance in this game. God, but yeah, there's no easy target for Phantom Assassin. He doesn't have that farm target, right? Like, Undying, we've already seen multiple times how he can just live through these initiations because it's just how the hero works. Rubik, he has an Aeon Disc now himself as well. So even if you do jump the Rubik, he's going to pop the Aeon Disc and survive. Bloodseeker is certainly not a target you can go for easily, especially with the Heaven's Halberd and the evasion that's coming out. And, of course, both Spectre and Tinker. Tinker, I guess, would be the best one, but again, the Aeon Disc. He's even tanked up with the Octa Ring Core. He's at 3,500 of life, so... Phantom Assassin just not feeling any bit like he can... Oh, God, no, this is horrible now. He gets caught. Possibly could be with the Rupture. He can't move. If he tries to chase after them, the Rupture's going to kill him in the end. He pops Refresh another Phantom Knives, but he's just dead. Oh, yeah, it's just... Oh, God. This one's over. I mean, and that was just a really unfortunate way to end it, too, where it's like, at least get the jump and maybe try to go for a play, but Phantom Assassin just at half life before the fight even really starts. And this Rupture has just proved to be the MVP, I think, of this game, honestly. The biggest thing to note about Rupture, by the way, is that it pierces spell immunity. So we saw right there, even with the BKB active, he still wasn't comfortable running. All right.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
You're wrong about Bloodseeker. Yeah.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
That's the thing for me. That's why I'm never going to be like overly critical when it comes to these drafts in the grand finals of TI.
Radiant's top barracks
When they
has
happen,
fallen.
is like these guys know what they're doing, right? Like they have strategies in mind, they have ideas, and was it risky to give up Magnus first pick? Knowing what happened in game 2 especially, and what Magnus has done in this tournament, yeah. But they snap-picked Rubik Undying. They were confident they had a game plan. Even though they're down 2-0, they're like, we know what we're doing, we're going to do this. They responded to with that. Undying has been an amazing pick as well all throughout this game. And then all the way to the last pick, Tinker. I mean, even Tinker was a little bit of a question mark in terms of the pick. It's like, okay, landing phase maybe going to be pretty good and can assist in fighting, but and good against Phantom Assassin right with the laser debuff, but he can also get caught pretty easily if you're not careful. And this is a team that can definitely catch on paper. So I wasn't even sold on the Tinker pick, but that's why you got to play the game, right? That's even with all this theory crafting that you can do in any single game, and you know, see how the draft plays out and what the strategy on paper may be. It still comes down to execution. And LGD playing like the team that we expected here at this tournament now, and they are well on their way to forcing a game 4.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
All right. That was, again, Baby CBK making an appearance. Don't normally let her sit on a tablet like this all day, trust me, but special expectations with the grand finals being on and me doing the stream here. I swear I'm not one of those parents that just lets them sit on the tablet all day. No, after this is done, we're probably going to go to the park, actually, and
Radiant's middle
have some
tower
fun
has
outside.
fallen. Radiant's middle
That'll be
barracks
fun.
are under attack.
But LGD having some fun right now. It's like Disruptor wasn't even a hero. Horn toss in, Spectre. Yule's on up, though. In the back. There's that fan of knives coming out. He has Refresher, so he's going to pop it. Use it again right here. Another fan of knives. No kills, though, and he's just dead. He has a buyback. He'll use it, but he's still just desperate. Oh, they smoke immediately.
Welcome to the CP Kappa.
Trellocs, welcome to the
go.
CP Kappas. You're awesome. You're freaking awesome. Dylan, so different than I am. And thank you so much. 12 months. That's a whole year. Thank you so much, Trellocs. You know I love you. Appreciate that. Very helpful. Hey, the rocket spam from afar. Oh, he's also got the upgraded Blink Dagger, though. This is an item that we do not get to see too much. But he's got the strength upgraded Blink Dagger. How is this fight not over, by the way? Alright, I think it's finally actually going to be over. So Spirit just kind of battling to the bitter end. Having some fun with it. They're trying to kill the Spectre. He's in the fountain. Kill the raid boss.
Radiant's
Oh,
middle
God.
tower is under attack.
I can't even kill him. Alright, game 4. It's official. Ah, boy. Team Spirit, how about it? They
PSG.LGD victory.
surprised a lot of people getting this far. Then they'll go up 2-0 against LGD. But now LGD finally cracks the egg and says, wait a second, we're the favorite team. This is our tournament to lose. Let's see what we can have happen. Yeah, again, it's easy to sit here and say after a loss for a team of like, oh, they got outdrafted. I mean, that's just the very simple analysis, right? I stand by, just like I said for the first 2 games, I don't think this was a, oh my god, outdraft, what were they doing? The Invoker pick was the one pick for me. As much as I love seeing it, I do think the Invoker pick was a bit of a stretch. And we saw the very little impact. This is by far the worst performance from Toronto to Tokyo that I've seen, at least, out of Team Spirit. He basically did nothing in this game because he just couldn't. Bloodseeker was the MVP pick for sure. That and Undying, although different picks than what we've been seeing throughout this tournament. Bloodseeker and Undying were actually both very good picks on the other side of it. And that's where you got to give credit, I think, to LGD, certainly. Spectre and BS weak laners. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe they missed their timings earlier on, perhaps, but